Hey everyone, I'm Holly Heiser, and I'm going to show you how to cut a whole duck into 2 boneless fillets. Now, why would you want to bother to do this? It uses all the meat and skin. It's way easier to cook it when it's flat than when it's round, and it's a lot easier and neater to eat when you can slice it and not worry about the bones. So what you're going to need to get started is a plucked and eviscerated duck, a cutting board, and a boning knife. That's it. First comes the easy part, removing the meat from the carcass. I've got a whole bird here. I've got a wing down to the first joint, and the legs are all in good shape. I'm going to start with my boning knife using the tip of the knife here, pressing it up against the keel on the side. See how it's bending against the side? I'm not cutting into the bone, but I'm cutting as close to it as I can. And you just glide along the bone there. Here you hit the wishbone, and again you sort of push the side of the knife against it so that you're not actually cutting bone. Slice off this flap here. And you just start cutting away a bit at a time. It might look a little bit choppy, but it really doesn't matter because when you serve this, the skin side is going to be up and no one's going to notice if the meat is a bit hacked. So once I've got a good bit taken off there, I turn it over and I'm going to cut along the spine here. I'm cutting very gently. I am not putting a lot of pressure on that knife. It's sharp, so it cuts the skin easily. And I just begin to cut here to separate the meat from the rib cage. This is the tough part. There's just no meat here. It's skin on bone, so be very careful. Really try to watch out for your fingers when you're cutting. These knives are sharp. So that's the saber bone right there. It's like our shoulder blade. Cut to separate the meat from that. And then turn it back over again and see we've got the leg here. And what you want to do is bend it back until that ball and socket joint pops. When you put tension on the joints and it pops like that, your knife will easily cut through the tendons that are holding it together. You're not cutting bone, so it just slips away easily. You keep working your way down the bird toward the other joints in the wing. And while it's all connected, give it a little twist. Sometimes it just pops right off. And there you have it. There's the tender. Don't forget to take that off. If you leave it on, it will often fall off during cooking. You can use it for some other preparation. So this is the part that sucks, removing the bones. There's really no pretty way to do this. I start by severing the tendons and meat around the bone at the edge of the leg and the wing. Now you can slip your knife down the bone like this, but it's really not going to sever everything neatly. You just have to cut the meat away a bit at a time. I like to use the end of that wing and the leg as a handle and push it out so you can expose more and more meat to be cut. Always being very careful about where your knife is in relation to your fingers. See how I move my hands there to avoid getting slashed. So here you just turn that back inside out like a jacket you just took off. That's the easiest part of this job. Now the leg is a little bit different. You have 2 sections of bones. The first section is easy because there's not a lot of skin around it, so you have good access to it. So just slice around it, trim away. And we really want to separate these 2 sections, so again, pop that joint and then use your knife to cut the strained tendons where you popped it. And here you just cut it away like we did with the wing. I'm curling my fingers up there to avoid that blade. There it is, that one popped out. That was nice and easy. And again, we're using the base of the leg here to push it out and expose more meat to be trimmed away from the bone. And sometimes it just goes that easily. Turn it over. If there's any shreds, sort of neaten it up a little bit. And there you have it. Now, if you don't think it's worth it to bone the fillet, then you can just simply cook it with the bones in, or you can actually break it down into its 3 parts here, leg, wing, and breast. The nice thing is once you've filleted it, it's really easy to see where one muscle starts and the other muscle stops, so you can do some very precise parting out. Just cutting along the leg here. Now you will end up with extra sections of skin. You can trim it off, you can render down the fat, you could leave that on the breast side, you could leave it on the leg side, just depends on what you're going to do with it. But there you have it. With the wing, it's a little bit more connected to the breast, but you can still see pretty clearly where you need to do your slicing. And you just tidy up the ends a little bit when you're done. And there you have it. So to see how to cook these fillets, click here. And if you're interested in shopping for the kitchen tools we use in these videos, go to hollyheiser.com and click on Store. Thank you.